Hello and good morning, and thanks for dropping by. This is Jar of Fireflies. My name is Hannah, and here you'll find videos all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 3. And today we're doing a day in the life. Okay guys, future editing me here. I realized as I went back to edit this video that I forgot to mention at the very beginning that we're skipping school today. We're actually skipping school this entire week. And that kind of matters in this video because A, we're not doing any school, and B, it kind of plays in a little bit in the video that we're not doing school this week. Anyways, I just kind of felt like my kids needed a break. I kind of felt like I needed a break. And there was just it just felt like there was a pile of other stuff that I needed to get done, from laundry to catching up on editing to just whatever. And I know my kids enjoyed the break, so we took the whole week off. Today is a day of us playing hooky. And now back to my day. So I started out my day by taking our dog Bella for a walk. We did a very brisk 2-mile walk around the neighborhood. We were limited on time because my husband needed to get to an appointment pretty early. So I wanted to just walk really fast to get in as much exercise for her and for myself as I could. It was a beautiful day and they're calling for storms the next couple days. So it was really important that I went ahead and got out and got that done. After I got home and got showered and all cleaned up and had a little bite to eat for breakfast, I went out to the backyard to work a little bit in the garden. The kids were all totally settled and I took Bella out with me so she got to play in the backyard while I worked on this garden situation. After the summer burned up a lot of plants and things just kind of needed some tuning up out here, I put some of my tomato cages around some of the peppers, which were getting really big and kind of falling all over the place. And then I wanted to really trim up on these tomatoes, remove anything dead. There were certain plants that were completely dead and other plants that just were starting to come back to life but just needed to be trimmed, all of the dead branches and dead leaves and things off. So I just kind of got to work on that, which was really nice. The transformation kind of reminded me of the secret garden when the little girl first finds the secret garden and it's just all overgrown and a big mess and she puts in all the time and effort to work in it and then it's all beautiful. So yeah, I know it's not a flower garden, but hey, these are my veggies. Okay, oh my gosh, that was fun. All right, I definitely feel like things are looking a lot better. The tomatoes are definitely a lot more cleaned up and they are looking good. I put some cages over here around the jalapenos and peppers, so those are looking good. Definitely need to get a gate up here in a few minutes because the dog has been, I never did put a gate up and the dog's been coming in here and she's been digging these holes all in the garden. I mean, look at this. Bella's down here with me. She hears the neighbor dog barking, so we may hear Bella bark here in a minute, or whine. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna grab some little containers and some potting soil. I want the kids to do some planting today, so I'm gonna go ahead and set that up over on the patio, so when they're ready, they can come out and do that with me. Because yeah, we're probably a little bit behind on our fall planting, but it's Texas, it's so mild here that we probably have a pretty good bit of wiggle room. So anyways, I'm gonna get all that set up, but yeah, so happy with the garden right now, yay. I mean, it's been a rough summer for sure, but still happy with it. She just ran away with my pots. Okay, I'm gonna go chase her. And there you go, there's the garden now. Looking at that before and after, it is a pretty amazing transformation. Definitely looking a lot healthier now. Okay, here I am. I'm cutting a piece of this hardware cloth is what they call this. It's basically like a really thick metal screen that I'm using for the fence around the garden, and that's what I'm going to use to make the gate. Please forgive me for this horrific camera angle. I had set up my phone, which is what I'm using to film this video. I had set up my phone on a windowsill on the side of our house, and this was about the best angle that I could get. And I guess I thought that I'd be more in the picture, but anyways, just cutting off a piece of that. And that is what I'm going to use to make a little makeshift gate until we can build an actual real one. So I'm just going to connect this on one side with zip ties, and then the other side will just hopefully kind of lay next to the fence. And that's really about all that I'm going to do. It's going to be functional. It's going to keep the dog out of the garden because she is literally digging up plants. She dug up one of my eggplant plants completely. and she's just making herself at home digging everywhere else in the garden. I mean, I get it. It's great dirt, but it's not for digging. It's for growing. So yeah, I'm just putting zip ties down one side and hoping that it rests, which it ended up resting. I was pretty happy with it. And hopefully we'll get a real nice gate built at some point to go with my real fancy fence there, right? Can you tell I've done all of this myself? But hey, functional is all it needs to be. Okay, there's the new gate. I am satisfied. It works. It might even keep rats out. Probably it will, actually. So that's kind of exciting. There's my zip ties going down the side. I just attached 3 zip ties, and there's the garden. So now it was time for planting. I got the kids involved with this, of course, because I love to have them involved with the garden, and we were able to loop in a bunch of really cool math for my son. I had him adding up how many different things we were planning to plant, how many of each, and so figuring out how many pots we were going to need, figuring out how many pots we had, how many we needed to take away, how many we had filled with dirt, how many more we needed to fill with dirt, just a whole bunch of little math things like that all along the way, just doing math in his head without any, counting cubes or anything like that. And it was fun. He was able to do everything and he enjoyed it. He's been really kind of on a math kick this week on his own. So then we started actually planting the seeds. I started with peas because the pea seeds are obviously really large and that's going to be really easy for them to get started with before we move on to like teeny tiny little seeds like for tomatoes. So I just kind of went through the process with them and they were able to get started. I realized pretty quickly that I had forgot to bring any kind of anything to label the plants. So obviously when they're planted, I don't know what the seeds are. So I ran inside and grabbed some popsicle sticks from the craft room and a Sharpie and was able to quickly write up some little markers to stick in the pots. And my daughter really enjoyed getting to help stick those in. Both of my kids really enjoyed being involved in this whole planting situation here, and my toddler was just riding his tricycle around on the patio right behind us while the dog ran around and played in the yard, chewing on whatever she could get her little mouth on. Today we were planting cucumbers, tomatoes, peas, and spinach. I'm pretty excited to see how all of these turn out. I have never grown spinach or cucumbers or peas before. I have grown tomatoes before with, mixed results, but I've never grown them from seed. So overall, this is all going to be a pretty exciting thing for me to try, and I'm stoked. The kids are also super on board with all of it because they got to do the planting. They keep calling them, my plants, referring to themselves, not to me. And here they are, all done and in the sun. I've got them on the patio right now, but I ended up moving them over into the garden area just to remove the temptation from Bella so that she wouldn't try to dig in these. Okay, I'm a bit of a sweaty mess now. It's a little bit humid outside. So we got that garden stuff done. I'm really glad we were able to get outside and get that done. It's supposed to rain the next couple of days. And now it looks like it's gonna rain this afternoon, which is killing my plans. I had planned on taking the kids to nature group this afternoon, and we were gonna go swim in the creek. This morning there was like a 30% chance of rain, and then there was like a 40% chance of rain. Now it's a 50% chance of rain, and I'm just not really loving these odds because it just keeps getting worse. So probably not gonna go to nature group. Looks like none of the other mamas wanna go either. They're either out of town or just the rain, which I totally get. So we may just be staying here and having a lazy day at home, which is totally fine with me. So I think I'm going to work on lunch for the kids and then figure out for sure what we're doing about nature group. No idea what to make for lunch. Okay, let's go figure something out. Bella found herself a nice little cozy corner in the kitchen while I got to cooking. I had a quick conversation with the kids and they kept asking me for leftovers from dinner last night. Last night I had made Chinese food using this pargyote, which is a cut of chicken that's, I guess it's just like really fatty dark meat. So I spent probably way too much time trying to trim all the fat and stuff off of that meat so that it'd be, a little bit healthier for us to eat before I chopped it all up into kind of bite-sized-ish pieces. So I did have some leftover rice from last night already cooked, and leftover rice makes the best fried rice. So I went ahead and broke it all up because it had kind of clumped together there in the fridge. And then I added in some soy sauce and some frozen peas and carrots and a little bit of oil, and then I fried it up. Then I made a batter for the chicken using just a little bit of some soy milk and a handful or so of some gluten-free flour. And I just kind of mixed all of that together until it was all covering up the chicken. And then I was able to put it in the pan of preheated oil to fry it up. Once the meat was all fried up, I just tossed it into a bowl and then added some sauce from a jar. It was sweet and sour sauce. And then I mixed all of that up together. My oldest had some pineapple for breakfast and he didn't finish it all. So I went ahead and added that in as well because pineapple does go great with sweet and sour chicken. And then I just mixed all of that together. And then I was ready to serve. I put the fried rice onto a plate and then topped it off with some of the chicken and we were good to go. It kind of tasted like, you know, Panda Express or something like that. Not that I've had Panda Express in like 10 years, but hey, it's kind of like how I remember it. Definitely a big hit with the kids. Everybody had 2 helpings, so I always call that a win because, hey, the kids don't always like my cooking, but this one, they did. All right, so we had an awesome lunch. It was super yum. Everybody had seconds. And now it's time to start getting ready for nature group. We did work it out where we just decided to switch locations because with a chance of rain, nobody really wanted to be at the creek, especially like up and down the hill that is getting down to the creek. So we're just gonna meet at a local nature preserve instead today. So I probably have like 5 minutes to sit here and relax by myself, and then I'll have to start getting us all ready to go. But in the meantime, the kids are just finishing up lunch real quick, and then we can head out to meet up with our friends at the park. Okay, so we are getting ready to head out the door now. I've packed our bag up with some snacks and stuff. The kids are just gathering up some toys for Bella so that she can have some toys in her kennel while we are gone. And we're out of here. Let's go to nature group. Okay, so we are in the car. We are headed off to nature group. We decided to go ahead and leave Bella at home this time just because she was really tuckered out after her long walk this morning and after playing in the backyard so much with us all morning long. So I figured she could probably use the rest with us not being around. Plus it is pretty hot and she's wearing a fur coat. So leaving her at home so that she could be comfortable and get some rest. And then we are headed out. It was really great to get out of the house and see some friends, as always. You know, this happens for us now really just the one time a week. So it's we look forward to this so much. We love it. We got there first and the kids immediately took off to their favorite tree. This has been kind of our home base in the winter, but we haven't been there in a while just to play like this in the summer. It's just been too hot. So today it was about 90 degrees, but it really felt nice. There was plenty of natural shade, plus there's a big pavilion there. And there's also a really nice breeze coming up off the lake, which felt just really nice and cool. So we were very comfortable. I mean, sure, it was warm, but it was pretty darn comfortable considering. The kids were doing a lot of just general exploring, climbing on the trees and running around in the bushes and walking around. And they did some building. They were like constructing things out of sticks. And there was lots of, you know, imagination flowing with different games that they were creating for themselves and kind of like role-playing wizards and things like that. It was such a treat to get to watch them play with their friends. It always is. And I, of course, really enjoyed getting to sit and have some adult conversation with the other moms. It was a smaller group between the weather and Labor Day weekend, but we had a blast. Okay, so we are driving home now. We had a great time there at the park. The kids really enjoyed playing. It was nice to get a change of pace away from the creek. So yeah, I did not mind switching it up at all. So one thing that's really cracking me up about this week is that even though we're not technically doing school, I think that my kids are learning more and doing more school-related things than they would be if we had been doing an actual curriculum week. My son is in the backseat right now doing math, and there's been a lot of writing that's been happening. My daughter's been doing a lot of cooking. When we were doing our gardening this morning, I had my son doing all the math, adding up how many seeds we needed and, you know, how many pots and how many more pots do we need, and it's been great. Okay, we are home now. It was so great to be there with friends and just hanging out and the kids getting to play. I think everybody's pretty beat now. The kids are very dirty though, playing in all the dirt and mud. So they are gonna go now and take baths, and then I'm gonna make us some pizza for dinner. We're gonna try a new pizza dough recipes. So hopefully this will turn out well. We're gonna see. All right, let's go. Come on, Bella, ready to go back inside? Okay, so this is actually my very first attempt at making gluten-free pizza dough from scratch, and I will link to the recipe below in the description box. However, I'm warning you right now, it didn't turn out the way that I thought that it would. I was so excited about this, and I'm sure it was just an error on my part and not from the recipe, because I have had such great experiences using recipes from this website. It's gluten-free on a shoestring. Love everything that she puts out there, but yeah, this one did not work for me. So I'm just mixing all of the ingredients together, and then I need to let the dough rise. So I set the dough out to let it rise, and like nothing's happening. It says it could take like about an hour. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. After like 30 minutes, it's still not budging. So at that point, I go ahead and turn the proof setting on in the oven, and I put the dough in the oven. And I let it sit in there for a good, I don't know, probably 45 minutes, and still it doesn't budge. But you know, I've got to just work with it. At this point, we're all really hungry. It's much later than I had thought for dinner. So I went ahead and, set the dough out, prepped my counter and all that jazz, and I push it down, getting ready to roll out what this dough is, hoping that maybe it will rise in the oven. Well, it's not working. Not at all. It is very crumbly. It was crumbling under the pressure of my hands, under the rolling pin, just in my hands. Like, that's obviously not really going to make pizza dough. So then I get a brilliant idea. Well, actually, I get two brilliant ideas. First, I go and grab a cookie cutter. Then I grab a bottle of wine. My idea is to pour a glass of wine, drink some wine, and figure out what to do with this dough. And my idea for the dough is that I will make teeny tiny little pizzas with a cookie cutter, because maybe, just maybe, that is something that is small enough that even though it's crumbly, I'll be able to pick it up and put it on a tray and cook it and see what happens. Well, guess what, folks? That kind of worked. I was pretty excited about that. So I started laying them all out on a tray and just kind of rolling them out. And of course, this is taking forever. And the dough is crumbling, but it's small enough that I can just kind of push the dough kind of back together and then do the cookie cutter. So yeah, it was kind of working. So this is the same cookie cutter that I use when I'm making sugar cookies, and they kind of looked like sugar cookies when I was setting them out on the tray, but I promise they were pizza crust. So yeah, there we go with my other brilliant idea, drinking a little wine and making the pizza. So I kind of par-baked the pizza crust, and then once it was like almost done, I put some sauce on top of each little cookie-shaped pizza dough and then sprinkled on some cheese before putting it back into the oven. I let it then cook until the pizza was just a little bit bubbly. The cheese on top was just a little bit bubbly, and then we were good to go. They ended up being a pretty big hit. My family quite enjoyed them. I mean, they ate them all. They were all gone. I had 2 full trays like that of these little mini pizzas, and the kids absolutely loved it. It was kind of a treat, I think, just because it was shaped different, but I don't know. It worked. They enjoyed it. Okay, guys, what a day. I am pretty beat. I think I need another shower before I go to bed. So now that dinner's done, I think we're just gonna chill out for the rest of the evening. Not even gonna have a movie night tonight, just gonna go to bed. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, I really, really appreciate you. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, like it if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe now so that you don't miss any of my future videos. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next upload.